Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to this Reggae Talk. It is a pleasure to host you. I am Dr. Isis Samaj Hall. I am a lecturer in the Department of Literatures and English at the University of the West Indies, Mona campus. It is my greatest pleasure to have you all here, wherever you might be tuning in to this Reggae Talk. Now, today is Valentine's Day, and we are celebrating that, of course, during the month of February, and February is Reggae Month. So this is a big month, and it means a lot that you are spending some time with us, with me, with Devin Dakta, as we talk through some real things, as he shares bare thoughts. So love to you for being here, and there's a lot that we want to kind of celebrate in this conversation, actually. Now, I'm particularly thrilled to be here because I know that you have a lot of sources and a lot of ways to communicate with artists these days, right? Through social media and what have you. You can connect with artists in different ways. But here with the Reggae Talks, what we seek to do is to have powerful, critical conversations about what matters to these artists, so that we can see them in another light and have a greater appreciation and understanding for the journey that they have taken. So over the years, I have been privileged to be able to have Reggae Talks and bring Reggae Talks to you that featured artists such as Shaggy, Janine, Gussie Clarke, and Coffee. And so today, this conversation with Devin Dakta will be no less dazzling, and I can't wait for it to get underway. We are doing this over Zoom because of the pandemic experience that we've been through now for the last 2 years. But you are still a part of this, and I want you to take time to put your questions in the chat feature, and we'll be acknowledging those questions and attending to those questions. But what we'll do is actually roll into a recorded conversation that I had with Devin Dakta. So start firing off those questions as soon as they come into your mind, and then we're going to loop back in to have that live Q&A. Does that sound good, Devin?
Great. Sounds great. Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so let's get on with it. Here comes that video. On behalf of the Department of Literatures in English at the University of the West Indies, Mona campus, I bring greetings to all who are streaming from near and far on this planet and others. I'm Dr. Isis Samaj Hall, and I'm so happy to be sharing space with Devin Dakta for this Reggae Talk. This is our first one for 2022, and let's see what we have in store for the rest of this year. So, globally, the entertainment industry, it has faced challenges over these last couple of years of COVID. And locally, the Jamaican music industry has been rather upside down, so to speak, due to the pandemic and the various restrictions on performing and on touring. But surely the creativity never stopped. It shifted in ways, sure, but it never stopped. Historically, many of our artists have emerged from humble or meager beginnings, but also historically, and much less talked about, too many of our artists have been the victims of abandonment, loss, poverty, hunger, and even sexual abuse. Traditionally, we have masked these traumas. We've masked these traumas with bravado and cavalier attitudes, with tough lyrics and platitudes about what no kill you make you stronger. But the tides on mental health are shifting, and they have been for a few years now. Artists who are themselves the youth, or artists who are seeking to connect with the youth, are more openly singing, rhyming, and working through their traumas. Devin Dakta is our guest here for this Reggae Talk. And in a lot of ways, Devin Dakta is one of these kinds of individuals, one of these kinds of artists. In fact, Devin, you've been offering listeners your lyrical truths for almost a decade now. So with this kind of heaviness that's in the air, maybe you can just tell us about your start in this space. you're born, of course, Anthony Clark, but we know you as Devin the Dakta. How do you come to be Devin the Dakta? What's your journey?
Okay, so my journey would start from school days. It would start from primary school when at first I wanted to be a pediatrician. But like everyone else in the class, some wanted to be a teacher, some wanted to be a pilot. They just wanted to be something that your parents could be proud of, your teacher could be impressed. I said, okay. So after that, now I started St. Mary High School in 7th grade. And before that, I would normally perform in my community. I can remember, I think it was January 1st or the 2nd, Lataya birthday parties. Like every year as a child, I would go there and perform. But when I got to 7th grade now and I started to perform at concerts, it's like bigger audience and now people who I'm seeing for the first time. What we would call now the forward. So the forward I would get from that now is like, okay, I want this again, So I continued, and then I became like the popular student in the school. So I was like, because my father now he's a vendor at the school gate, so he would sell soup from stuff before even entering the school. Everyone would know that, okay, Soupy son, I come St. Mary High School now. So my name at school was Soupy. So from there, like I said, performing at concerts at St. Mary High School and then Taste the Talent Trail now. I saw that competition, the audition, one morning before I was going to school. And I said, so I'm going to enter this. Just as fun. And so, okay. I went to the audition in Ocherios. But to get that audition though, I would have to hide, because as a youth now, my father was very protective.
Okay.
It's like knowing how, and my community now would be at times people might say, okay, you come from this community, you're a bad man, or So my father was very protective. Big up my father and that. So the morning now, early before I would hide. So he would come to Kingston because he's a vendor, like I said, would come to Kingston to shop. And early now, so I would just hide my friend Bazwa. And I woke him up and say, we are going to audition now. And so I would watch my father though drive out. So the moment him drive out the bus, that's me right behind, heading to Ocherios.
Yeah.
And then I got through. So when I reach home now, no one believed, because they was like, you're not even no Ochi, So they said, okay. Then they finally believe when I show them a little paper, and they said, okay. And then the greatest thing with my family is, no matter what I'm doing, once it's within the laws, once I'm not breaking any rules, they're going to support, and 100% support. So yeah, I went to, like I said, Ochi audition, got through, and then I came to Kingston to do the performances, and I won.
Right.
I came first in that. And then after that, it was still school, because my father now decides to know you have to go school. And then finished school. And then same way I saw Magnum audition again. And I said, okay, I'm going to enter this. And I tried Magnum before, but they said I was too young, but I'm very tall. So at the auditions for that, they sent me through. But when I reached to the judges now, they were like, you're bad, but how old are you? I said, 15. And I said, no, man, you're too young. I said, okay, I'm going to try back. So after school, I tried that back, and one shot and I got through. And then from that now is just like out in the music industry now with like the ocean now. So you have the sharks over there, so now the whales over there. And I was just like, the little ticky, I try to find my way through. And from that, it was just up. You can remember immediately after that, it was the Grammys, because with the project with Sly and Robbie. So big up Kazuhiko Asanuma. He is a Japanese, the executive producer of that project. And I was at a performance. Shireen Anderson invited me to come and perform at, I think it was Jesse Ripple. They were doing a concert there. And I went and it was good. And I can remember I saw the Japanese guy out in the crowd, he wasn't saying anything. He was just taking in the performance and like, okay. And then after that, immediately came over and said, hey, would you like to do a song with JL? So JL, he won Rising Star before. And I knew him. So I said, yeah, no problem. So he said, let's link up at the studio. It happened that I link up at the studio and it was Sly and Robbie's studio. So it's like the excitement got to our next level now.
Right.
Because growing up, you hear about the Sly and Robbies, you hear about the Steely and Cleve, you know, you just never get to meet them. So now, actually, and then to be in the space where especially Sly was, Robbie wasn't there at the time, but Sly was there, and it's like, okay, you have to impress them now in the David. This is the next level. And then that project now was completely different from the Ribambi Deng Deng. That's what I was doing on the Magnum. So from there, it's like, okay, so there's more to music. And that project went for Grammy, Best Reggae Album. Immediately after that, now, I got on a song with a rock band from LA called Electric Guest, and that song was Oh Devil. And that song went on Billboard. And this is a next level for me now, not just musically, but I started to traveling. I started to meet people and see how they listen music and the type of music they listen to. This was like 2017. So immediately after the Grammy Award ceremony, I went to LA, we did the music video. And then, like I said, just being in that space here, you understand how people create outside of Jamaica. And I said, okay, I think this is where I really want to be. So there now I can remember in a meeting in New York, I went to New York after that, in a meeting, and they were like, what albums you listen to? And that kind of took me back, because I said, I never really paid attention to albums.
Right.
In Jamaica, we just hear whatever play, maybe in the bus pass, or you go on YouTube. Then I realized people there not even follow up YouTube unless it's a music video. So then now I became more knowledgeable, because now I get to understand what is Spotify, what is Apple Music, what is Deezer, what are the other streaming platforms. Just driving in a cab and just say, hey, you know, Devin the Dakta, just a test to see if anybody know me. And no, so I said, okay, search for his music. And then when the guy took up his phone, that was the Uber driver.
Right.
And I saw him go on this green thing. So I was like, oh, what is? Okay, so this is Spotify. So I was expecting him to go on YouTube, because I wanted to show a music video. So then he was like, nah, let's check it on Spotify. I said, okay. Then now I realized that most of my songs weren't even under the Devin the Dakta name. So now I said, okay, I have a lot of work to do here. So now, so it's like that kind of broadened my knowledge on the entire music industry. And then after that, now I'm the type of person now that I don't have to be the smartest at all times, but I just want to know a bit so I can go through, you know?
Right.
So from there, I just felt like I never knew anything, because now I started to have more meetings. I started to meet not just execs, but other songwriters. So now I have to know how to work with these people who are completely outside of my culture. So I was like, okay, and how to speak their language. Okay, I was starting to, like I said, I don't want to say give up on dancehall, but it's just like you see the world of music now. You know, so my thing now was, how can I bring my culture to these people, you know, but still kind of make it appealing to them in terms of the sounds. So there now I started listening a lot of music, like albums now, because I realized, okay, you need to understand how albums are made from start, the middle to the end, how it is packaged, how it is promoted. You know, so I started to listen a lot of albums, and then during that period, I just never wanted to be blank. And I was in a place where I just never feel like I knew myself, because now I started listening a lot of music, you know, and I like them, but I still like dancehall. So it's like me, I say, no, I like dancehall, but me like this, you know. And then when I try a new sound, is like Jamaica wasn't accepting it, because they knew me for Ribambi Deng Deng. So now I realized, okay, so I'm in this box. And then now, like I said, I want to try to please the international audience, but I still wanted to keep the Jamaica, because at the end of the day, this is where I'm making the most money. This is as in the regular dancehall, this is what's paid my bills. So it's like, no, I was struggling to find the balance between doing what I truly want to do, but still keep the fans in Jamaica.
Right.
And during that point also, I was studying the music. So I just never wanted to be out in the limelight like that, but I just never wanted to be absent. So during that time now, just thinking and talking to people, I felt dark. I felt alone. Like I said, not in a way where, okay, I could call my family, but just as a person, I just never knew what I wanted. So just listening and listening again, and I finally found it. I realized, yo, I just have to just express exactly how I'm feeling, because I started to listen to my own music now, and I realized, like, okay, if me not out and I enjoy myself, and like, it's like I wasn't enjoying my music. So it's like no purpose was there. Like, why would I listen to Devin? I never had a reason to come back. Okay, you go out, you dance, but when you're at home, you plug in your headphone, you don't want to hear Remember Deng Deng.
Yeah.
You know, you want something that can stimulate you mentally. So I said, okay, I started to do more research on music like that. Then I came across artists like NF and Hobson and Gina. And in that space now I realized that, okay, so the same sounds that Jamaica never wanted to accept fully, it's possible, because these people are doing exactly what I wanted to do. So there now I go, okay, I find like that little market, and I said, okay, so now it's just about me to just continue and just continue and continue. And then that's how the project now, Bare Thoughts, came about. So with that project now, it's about me speaking exactly how I feel. It's like I just block out the entire world and just say, okay, how am I feeling? After this project, I'm supposed to can play it from start to finish and pick something from it. You know, it should have a meaning and a purpose. Yes, and then from that, I just, like I said, I just feel like I'm in that space now, mentally, where I can just say whatever. If you feel offended, it's okay, skip it. That's how I look at it, because you have the choice. I'm not holding it down and putting the phone in the ears and say, listen, no, skip it. But there's a market for it, and people need music like this, and people need to understand, say, hey, at times you might feel alone, but you're definitely not. Just say it, and just from that now, other people might say, okay, this man need help. Maybe we see how we can help him. But if you don't say it, you will just forever be in that dark space. And yeah, I just think I am at that place now, like I said, in music, where I can just say whatever. And I'm comfortable doing that.
So the music became a healing for you as well.
It became that for me, definitely.
I want to go back to some things that you were saying from the beginning, because it's a really fascinating experience that you've had. And I think I want to start with your father, right? With Soupy. So I want to start there, because I think you've mentioned something that we don't really think too much about with regard to the music industry. And that is a father-parent relationship, and in particular, a father-son relationship, right? So we know about the protective or the overprotective mother, the protective mother that says, I don't want my child doing this, or I'm careful with my child, but we don't often hear about it with regard to a father saying that about their son. And you said that was the thing from the beginning, is that your father was quite protective of you and didn't want you to necessarily go into this industry. I'm guessing he would have preferred the pediatrician route. Or the teacher route, whichever one of those. So can you talk maybe a bit about that relationship? Because even as I think about the music industry broadly, right? So not just in Jamaica, but we think about, we can name 15 mama songs, right? Songs that are dedicated to mama and mother and my mom. But what about fathers, and what role do they play? So maybe you can talk about that relationship, because I feel like it comes up so much in your music in different kinds of ways, even in these kinds of imagined hypotheticals, you know, so can you talk about that?
All right, so the relationship with my father is, I think, one of the best ever. And is a thing where like I said, he worked at St. Mary High School gate up to this day. No matter what, I could go with $1 billion and say, Daddy, I can't stop work. No,
Yeah.
we have big house, we have pretty car, just stop work. No,
No.
that's just his happy place. Just being around the school kids and helping them, because he's that person where if you don't have the $100 to pay for this snack and juice, okay, I pay to come with it, man. So he's like that kind of person. And the relationship is just being around him and see how hard him work, and just wanted to be like my father. And even if, because at times I can know when they're struggling, but them just not say it.
Right.
So I can see that at times with my father, and I think now is when I really appreciate that. You know, looking back, I can say, Jano Star, Daddy never really have it, you know.
Right.
And I can appreciate, but during that time, also one of the main thing is I had a brother. He was now, and it's the first time I'm saying this out public. He was like the Don, youngster, real bad boy. He loved music. He was the first one who gave me a microphone. And when I recorded, I could hear it back on a CD. And at that time, whenever I hear that, my voice was so tiny, I would run.
Yeah.
I would run. And then when people come and say, you hear yourself on the sound? I say, no, man, me not hear it. Because I was so shy and just never wanted to hear it. So the path he took, like I said, he was a Don gangster. I can see after his death, he passed 2004. My father is a youth now where we grew up in a culture, society where it's not okay for men to cry. You know, but I could just say that, you know, it hurt him. You know, and I just know, say, oh, him definitely don't want me to go that route or my other brother, because 3 brothers and 3 sisters. But yeah, he definitely don't want us to go that route. And I just felt like, just as a young youth, I could just know that I want every single thing for make Daddy stop work at school gate. You know, so that was how I built the relationship. Like at times you know you go carry water or anything, you know, want go still.
Yeah.
But you just want to make sure that him happy. And I think happiness for me now come from even that to this day. Right. I just want my father to, even though we know I'm not going to stop work at school, you know, I just want him to be happy.
Right.
My mother has always been there. She worked in Kingston, so she would come over and then leave back. But she's always present to this day. My 3 sisters and everybody, but now when I can look back and see, I was one of the few youths where my father was there 100%. You know, so that's something I really give thanks for. And like I say, it's just a relationship where it's just all love.
Right.
And the main thing I admire about him is I never see him rest. It's just work. And the work for him is, remember, school gate himself.
Right. So early morning.
And yeah, and him send 6 of us through school.
Right.
And him take care of the house and do every single thing. Yeah, I just wanted to be like, up to this day, me just feel like I want to be like Daddy. Yeah. So that's the kind of relationship, just all love every day, every single day. Wow,
that's really beautiful. I mean, to hear you speak about him, you can tell that you admire him.
Yeah, man, definitely.
You know,
100%.
just so much respect for good character, right? So it seems as if not just the ways that he showed love to you, and I'm saying that intentionally, showed love to you and to your siblings, but the way he shows up for work and the kind of work that he does, he's showing love to an entire community.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. And so, you know, it shows you how far the reach can be, right? For that kind of, you know, those acts of kindness, because when we talk about it, the random acts of kindness as an activity or as a thing that we should do into the world, people overlook how much it also matters in your household, right? That you want to see that modeled. And it seems that you were seeing that modeled left and right. And so it's interesting to also think about your music and how you've also imagined the relationships between other people and their parents, right? So while you might have had a rather fortunate positive relationship with your father, you're also able to imagine other people's experiences and be kind of rather empathetic in how
Yes,
you
definitely.
bring your lyrics about. Also, I guess I want to kind of go into another question about your youth, because you're very old now, right? but
Very.
but if you were winning all this, right, at 15 years old, you're stepping into these spaces and just demolishing them, taking home the titles. What fed your lyricism early on? Were you a big reader? Were you listening to lots of dancehall? What was feeding your lyricism to give you the skills to win?
Yeah, in terms of reading, I wouldn't say I read in terms of you see a book, you like it. Now I'm trying to get into that more. You see a book, you like it, you pick it up, you read. I was the type, and even now, I might see, for example, a Tyler Perry. I admire this man. So now I'm going to search every single thing I can find on Tyler Perry. And that's how I would get my knowledge. I like countries. So I would just check them up and say, which country, how this name sound like this, why?
Right.
And I would just try to say, why the name sound like that? Okay, it's because it's French, but because of French, that doesn't mean you have to talk like this. Why? And then I start to research about the people from France. And then, okay, what's happening in Africa? So that's how I get my knowledge. That's why most times things it's very real. Even places I might quote in songs or wars or anything is 100% real. So in terms of knowledge, that's how I get knowledge. And in terms of lyrics, just listen and want to be better than whoever is out there. For me to be the best, you have to can beat the best. Because if 10 of us running, whoever is at number one, you have to pass him to be number one.
Right.
And in terms of lyrics now, the standard for me, good or bad, no matter what people want to say, has always been Vybz Kartel.
Always.
Always the Vybz Kartel. And then now, just listening how this man uses words. I can remember 2014, big up Daniel Basic Records. When I started to pay full attention to lyrics, was with Runcus. You know Runcus?
Yeah, yes.
So Daniel now from Basic Records, he invited me to a shoot they were having, like a video shoot with Runcus. And this was the first time I was seeing a decent video. It wasn't the biggest video shoot. I don't even know if Runcus remember this, but it was his video shoot. And they were like literally just setting up and they were just playing, and I was just here, just Runcus, nobody didn't know me. I knew Basic, that's Daniel. And I was just there sitting. And then Runcus was saying some things and at this point, instead of hearing it on a beat, it was more acoustic vibe, and it was so slow. And then, what this the man really say? I said, whoa. And then now, when I went back, because at that time I was living in St. Mary. So when I went back in St. Mary, now it's like, whenever I get a beat now, or at that time, it's not even say get beat. Whenever I listen to a beat on YouTube, because nobody now send me rhythm them time. When I listen to a rhythm on YouTube at this point, everything, it just got back to Runcus, like how him said this.
Right.
And then I started to listen to Vybz Kartel more and said, okay, but I'm not Runcus alone. Vybz Kartel better than how me even had it in mind, you know? And then from that now, it's like, okay, whenever I say this word, let me see how I can say it the next way. So from there now, it's just like, I just stick to that and just continue and continue. I just get better and better and better.
And for sure, I think you have. I think you have definitely gotten better and better. Every single you put out, it's an interesting mix. And I guess it leads me to that question of how are you balancing the two, right? So you talked about studying the music culture, right? And understanding that, you have to understand how albums work, how can you create something that's listenable from start to finish, ideally with no skips, right? People can have their moods, but you prefer for people to listen all the way through.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about how you're able to make music for the body, let's say, right? For the body, but then also for the mind. So how are you able to kind of balance that as a Jamaican music artist? Because sometimes I'm not sure if I should say dancehall artist or if I should say Jamaican artist, because you're Jamaican, you are an artist. So if you have Caribbean Baddie and you have Dolly and you have Rev Out the RR, these are songs that move the body on time, right?
Yeah.
And then how do you balance that body freeing kind of music that you have with the more meditative songs that are addressing self-harm, songs like When I'm Gone, or bare suicidal thoughts like those on songs Suicidal, or your frustration with the Jamaican people on a song like I Don't Need Anyone? How do you balance? Is it just mood that drives?
Yeah, it's definitely mood. I find out with me, and I don't think it's only me. I recently read a quote, I don't remember it exactly, but it's basically saying creatives become whatever they consume in terms of content. Or it allows you, it gives you inspiration to just create whatever you're hearing.
Right.
And it's recently, I realized, hey, that's exactly what I've been doing without even noticing. Because for example, like I said, I wanted to, like the Bare Thoughts project, I wanted to be myself. But just saying it how I wanted to say it, it just, like Jamaicans just never want to hear that. But then now when I started to listen, NF, Hopsin, and Jaina, to be specific, those three artists, I said, okay, they're saying it. So now just feeding on these music, these kind of music now, is like I just start creating more. Right. And then now I realize that just having relationships with people, a producer from overseas, like I have a friend in Sweden, his sounds are completely different. So when him send me that now, I would say, okay, this is dance music. So when you hear a dance beat now, you just want to get people to move. So then now what I wanted to do, like I said, I just never wanted to do the music that, okay, hear it one time. Right. As simple as something might sound in my song, you definitely have to look 2 or even 3 times. So then now I started to study Max Martin. So that's from, I think he's from Sweden, but he do like those kind of dance music and pop music. So okay, I started to listen like country music, you know, and this now kind of helped with storytelling.
Right.
You know, so just listening everybody, and then now is like me want to be true to, even if it's not me personally, but to my culture, and just see how we can put a bit of everything in it. And like I said, with dance music, as much as it might be simple in terms of the melodies or whatever they are saying, it matter. So that's just how I approach that. And I think I definitely feel like it worked. Just listen. And like I say, if you give me a country song to record, I will listen whatever is playing now in the country space, and I will also try to see what was played maybe 10 or even 20 years back. Because I want to keep that young people style, but still I want to make the records have a bit of what made it country from back then, what made people fall in love with it from then. So I just think that's my approach in terms of balancing it. Just listen, and at first just know what you want with a specific song. If you want to make people dance, okay. But me personally, even though I want you to dance, I still want you to take away something. For example, Caribbean body, you're supposed to can play it in a social studies or your class and teach everybody about the flags.
That's great, and it's true. You can definitely do that.
So I just always try to, So even at times, even in studio, like producer said, "Boy, Devin, you have to go so hard. You know, give even 80 or even 20%. You know, but I think with whatever, if it's even one single line, must be somewhere in it that you can listen to it and say, yo, in bad. You know, so I think that's my approach, and I think with that now I kind of balance it. So give you music to make you dance and everything, but still have a little message in it somewhere.
Right. So speaking of the message, right? Can you talk a little bit about the message that you do have with regard to mental health? Because you seem to have taken up that mantle in the music, in the Jamaican music space, with your videos, and then also with the content, the lyrical content. So why is that important to you?
All right. With me, like I said, one at the time, I felt alone until I started to listen more and I realized that people are doing it. And then now it kind of just make me feel free. And also, okay, that means me can do it too. So then now I wanted to be that person to just say it because I'm not so special where me alone feel this way. Somebody else is feeling that way. So I want to just say it and make everyone know that, hey, at least speak about it so that you can get help. Because if you don't speak it, it'll go stay in your head and you will only get darker and darker and darker. So at least say it. And at times for real, like I might not even want to say something in a song, but just saying it and then say how people react to it. You just feel free. It's like you get that burden off your shoulder.
Right.
So I would encourage every single youth just say it. And that's one of the main things make I really love trap dancehall. I think it's a space where apart from, every man I go chop some of my time and sing them war thing and that, which we can work on and clean up. But apart from that, it's a space where, especially men in Jamaica, they are expressing themselves openly. Like when you hear some man talk about the love where them never get, or how them give so much love and people take them heart and twist it at times, and not just at times, overall, even me, grew up in a place where if a girl break your heart, you just take that and you run grown and go find the next girl or find two girls to make up for that. So now when I hear the artist, them can openly express it and say, yo, him give the girl every single thing and she rip out him heart and him just feel like him on a body. And it make him feel whatever way, how him else he want to express himself. If it make him feel to do this or do that, at least he's saying it and not going outside of the studio to do it elsewhere. He's putting it all in the track and just expressing pain, him frustration, him anger, everything, but just say it. Kanye West have it in our song, him say, oh, just say it and see how it feel. At times, that's all we need. We just want to say it. And then now when I see people start say, okay, I feel that way too. Or I had that experience, or somebody do that to me. Or, me see that happen to my friend around there, so you know, can say, okay, at least I have company. Right. And you're just not alone. So just say it. And like I said, I love trap dancehall because it provides that space at the moment. That is the music where I give the youth them that hope.
Absolutely. No, thank you. I had mentioned to you before that I wrote an article for the latest Jamaica Journal that was discussing your work and how it has opened up this space as one of the contributors to this trap dancehall. I think of it more as emo dancehall. Like I'd rather be more leading with the emotional aspect, right?
Yes,
definitely. Because of how so many of us think about trap, as the the crack house, the coke house, the space that we're selling drugs out of. But that there's a lot of emotion, as you mentioned, right? A lot of emotion that is poured into this kind of music, and how this is like the new frontier for, in particular for male artists in Jamaica to kind of pour themselves into in an honest kind of way. So, I love what you're doing with the music. So what's next? Are you only going to stay in the music space? Do you want to enter more spaces? What are you thinking?
I think, so me as a person now where I like writing. Like at times I might, for example, a song is just like 3 minutes. You can't fit so much things in just 3 minutes, and it's like you just want to write and just write. So I find myself doing that a lot more. So I think I might do more like short films, some ebooks.
Okay.
And just express myself.
Yeah.
That's definitely something. Like I said, I might write, for example, the song No Love. Or even Bare Thoughts, the entire project Bare Thoughts. I just feel like there's so much more I had to say. Like I want to say some things, but remember, Devin is just an EP. Remember, a track is like 3 minutes. So I just feel like, no, I'm just going to continue write and release more materials in terms of maybe a short film and definitely books I definitely need to get in that book space. So
Yeah.
yeah, by reading more and writing more.
All right.
So yeah.
So the future looks bright, and I love that. And I feel like you've been breaking so many barriers of tradition, you know, and who's to say that a track needs to be 3 minutes? There are
Definitely, I have
15-minute
a song
songs.
that's like 10 minutes, a song called Cycle. That was definitely just an exercise to say, okay, what's the best song out there now? And when they show me, I checked on the internet everywhere, and even if a person do a 10-minute song or even more, it's like just freestyle off the top. So it's like, you know, just the basics. With that song called Psychward, I said, okay, 100% from start to finish, no breaks. And I did that, and like people love it. So I definitely want to go more with those things.
I hope you do. I hope you do, because the talent is there, and we've always been loving what you do. And I love how you're showing that in taking care of yourself, you can take care of others.
Yes, definitely. I get that from my father too.
Absolutely, because everything that you pour into your music, you're allowing people spaces to empty themselves as well.
Yeah.
Right, of their own burdens. So you're doing the work, and you know, we recognize it, as the Department of Literature recognizes it in our lyrical study. We recognize it, and of course the world recognizes it in their streaming of your music and their watching of your music videos. That your creative talent is unmatched. So I think we'll have to stop this right here, but then we're going to go into a Q&A, because I know that there's going to be a lot of questions about, you know, St. Mary grew up, and, you know, how the music was for you, and maybe what other artists you might want to put people in touch with. So we'll just hold on for now, and then we'll turn it into a Q&A.
All right, no problem. Bless up.
All right. All right, so there you have it. That was the conversation that we pre-recorded, but we're so happy to jump into this live Q&A. The conversation was really good, Devin.
It was. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Listen, you know, since the question, or I think it was kind of lingering a little bit at the end, you know, can you talk about how you got into NF? I mean, I've listened to some of the music, and it's really heavy, and I see how, you know, it helps people to kind of work through a lot. But what was it who introduced you to NF?
I was just on the internet, on YouTube, just listening music, and you know, you listen a song and then the next one is recommended. And that's when I came across one of his songs, and then at first I kind of skipped it. And then after that, now I wanted to find a title. So I went on Google. At first I wanted, because when I was about to create the Beer Thoughts project, I wanted a title that once you hear it, it's supposed to help you. So I wanted to use therapy session. And then when I searched for it on Google to ensure that no one else has it, I realized that the same person I saw on YouTube and skipped his music, NF, he had a project called Therapy Session. I said, okay, so that means this youth is actually on the same wavelength as me. Okay. So I clicked on his music, and from that day, it's like one of the best overall in terms of how he expresses himself, and not just his lyrics, but the overall production. His theme, he has a theme that just go with every single song. His sounds, the sounds that, so no one Instagram would follow down to him producers. Because at the end of the day, it's not just him as the artist, but also the producer who contribute to the project. So yeah, I just really like his music.
Yeah, you're a real scholar of music. You really do study it fully, and it shows. And I really appreciate that you're sharing that's the truth, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you can talk a bit now about St. Kingston. Are you hoping to create a safe space for artists coming up?
That's exactly what I'm going to do. Because here in Jamaica, one of the main things I realize is every single person want to create a record label and not even know why you should create a record label. You know, you say, as a producer, say, okay, he has this beat, immediately start a record label, and the most they're doing is just release the song on YouTube. At times, that's one of the main reasons I don't really voice for a lot of producers, because one of the main thing I ask you, because you don't have to have a big name for record me. Once you can show me a plan, how you plan to release the music in terms of how are you going to promote it. If you tell me you have the vloggers on YouTube, immediately you turn me off. So like, that's not how music is done. So
yeah,
I want to create a record label that has, I'm gonna put the idea out there. Somebody might teeth it, but it would be good.
okay.
That has even we own therapists. So whenever we realize, okay, I signed this artist, and all of a sudden we realize certain changes, it is the lyrics. Because at times the lyrics really tell you what's happening in your mind. It might not be something you're going through, but it's something you're exposed to. So I definitely want to have, okay, before you go on tour, okay, just speak, just release it. You know, when you come back, how you feel. You know, like I said, I want to create this safe space for every single artist I work with. And not just artists I work with, I want to, because one of the main thing, you know, me did want to write an article about this. I might still do it. One of the main thing I realized with people who say they set the foundation for dancer, they did it just for themselves and just one specific artist. Because for example, you have an artist and say your artist named Bag Juice, and you now say, okay, how am I going to get out Bag Juice music? So you create a record label called Bag Juice Factory then. And you're only offering your service to just the Bag Juice man right there. So then how will that help the other person over there to make fruit juice? Or the one who still leave water? You know, so if you did just create something, then just a juice factory then, and try to include everybody and offer your service, not just to your artist, then you would have a foundation right there. So where everybody, but the moment you set it just to your single artist, it's just for you and him, that's not really helping the culture. You know, so I want to things like that, instead of just complaining about it, I want to just do it then, just lead by example. And next part of my label, I want to have a part for poetry. Poets express themselves even more than recording artists, you know, and our poets here are kind of underground, and I think if we can just create a space for them to just, even if it's just a YouTube channel, then just have that space where we continuously feed this. If it's even 10 people come on it and say, okay, we like this, just continue to feed them, and it will grow. You might like one and share it with somebody else, and it just take one ear to make a song or a video go massive. You know, so create that space, visual, try it as best to see how we can get with visuals to a next level. You know, so just every single thing, and a safe space where you can say anything at all. Whatever is on your mind, as long as you're not saying yourself at me a prison, just come and say it exactly how you feel without being filtered by, because at times that's also one of the reasons I don't voice with everybody, because I might want to express myself a certain way, but a producer go say, yo, this is not gonna work at Jamaica. Jamaica is just like 3 million then. US alone have 350. So like I said, just create that space for creatives, for songwriters, poets, visual artists, just St. Kingston. And I'm from St. Mary, so St. and I know I live in Kingston. So
I see what you did there. But no, that's great. I mean, you're really trying to build an entire community.
Yes, that's the aim.
Yeah, no, and I don't know that exists in many formal ways. And so I like how you are thinking of it, especially in bringing in a therapist.
Yeah, that's one of the main things I'm passionate about. Like, once I sign a contract with me, that's a part of it. Just say it, just express yourself, because a lot of times, if you look at even the international scene, a lot of artists, they always complain about being lonely at the top. Why? They don't have anybody to talk to. Why? You know, so things like this, okay, if it don't work, then we can try something else. But I think it's a great start. That's one of the main things I will definitely invest my money in.
Absolutely. And art therapy is is very helpful. It's very helpful. Wow, this is, I could go on in that direction, but I want to kind of, I guess, pick up something else that you said there, right? Which is that there were times where you wanted to voice particular themes, certain content, but knowing that you're working with a particular producer, you would be stifled to some degree. So maybe you can talk about how difficult, perhaps that's the right word, how difficult it's been to navigate the cultural politics of Jamaica as an artist.
One of the main thing is you just have to know exactly what you want, and don't just, it's hard, it's extremely hard, because at the end of the day, you will be here writing and make some amazing music. And then when you look, you see a song blow up tomorrow morning. Right. That's completely trash. And it might throw you off. But so once you have that level of confidence and you know for sure that your music has value, then absolutely none of that matter. And with producers, like I said now, they're just in it for what's hot. The quick cash. Okay, put this out, the artist make 2 dub plate, him give him money. And I was just never impressed by that. At first I was, because growing up, that's how you see it. You see a bounty killer growing the road and go home one day, like got to studio and then by reach home, it's like $1 million make just off dub plate. But when you start to read, that's also the next thing. When you start to read and study the music, you will realize you not even have to open your mouth to make $1 million. Right. Just by registering your songs properly, you get that off your publishing. So things like that. That's just how I do it personally. Just read and just focus more on myself. Still listen to what's out there, because you still have to kind of blend the thing. At times, not too much. You still want to keep what makes you you. But still, you are not making music by yourself. You still want people to hear and can relate to it. So it's just finding that balance and just be true to you, know exactly what you want, and just do it, say it. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll take this last question here, right? And so, and I'm going to make it a 2-part question. So the question is asking, someone's asking, when might we expect some more new music from you?
Yeah.
But before you answer that question, maybe you can tell us who you're listening to now, so that we can kind of anticipate what is filtering in the creative process, so how it might come through. Okay, so what is it? What are you listening to, and what can we expect next?
What I'm listening to now is more dance music.
Okay.
So, and house music, so like Kaigo and Chainsmokers. Everybody must know Chainsmokers. And then you have a youth now named Elium.
What's that?
You can go check him out. Same dance kind of producers. And then you have Griffin. So like some amazing producers who are in. So they release music as the artists themselves. Like our Major Lazer would release songs. So that's kind of the space I'm in right now. And apart from that, more Afro. Because I'm studying now, okay, why is Afro leading dancehall? Why is reggaeton leading dancehall? Why even if a Ed Sheeran voice on a dancehall beat, it go #1. And then we here with the original, authentic dancehall. Now go. So, okay, I understand. So it's about how you present yourself. Not just as the artist on the record, but outside of that, when a person see it elsewhere, you're supposed to look like star. Supposed to have that star quality. One of the main things is our language. Trying to find a way to bridge that gap, because being Jamaican sells. But you have to know how to balance it where people can understand and sing it back. For example, as Sean Paul, we have the catchiest chorus, but then now you verse them, you don't even understand one thing. So it's just more about things like that, but more dance music. I'm really digging the Afro kind of vibe.
All right.
But not to do them, is just to study and say how or why are these music successful, and say how I can do that with my hardcore dancehall.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. So we got some dance music coming next.
Definitely.
That's the space that you're in. All right. And I'm sure there's still some meditation to get from that.
Like
too.
I have a project now like that that's cooking.
Oh,
That's coming.
okay.
Yeah, I might do it as Bear Thoughts too. So, but I definitely have that coming. I have some short films coming. I have some
All
short
right.
films where like songs now that are released. Like also, this is the next idea. If somebody want teeth it will be good for the space.
I love
so
the
come, just
giveaways.
teeth
I
it.
love it.
Yeah. So like songs that people might miss. I might release a song and it never really reached you how I wanted it. So I want to just go back to them because some nice gems are there.
For
And just
sure.
say how I can package it and okay, never like it as a song. Okay, let's make it as a short film so you can be a part of a longer process then instead of just 3 minutes, you can give you a 10 or even 50 or even 20 minutes. And so how we can sell the idea and just trying different ways to bring across these ideas. So that's definitely something I'm going into.
I love the multimedia approach. I love it. I really do. Well, I think at that hour mark now, and since we don't want to keep people here for the extended play version, we'll stop now. But I want to give the biggest thank you to you, Devin the Dakta, for being our guest at the Department of Literatures and English. You are a dazzling delight. It's always fun to listen to you. It's always educational to listen. We get a real pulse of things happening in your head, in your community, and in the broader world. You pack it all in. And so I can't wait to find out what you do with the visuals and how you enter into the publishing space and all of the other spaces that you're ready for. So people follow Devin the Dakta on all of his socials, which are
at Devin the Dakta, but spell it correctly, please. DEVIN DIDAKTA.
Clearly, that's the way to spell it. Okay, so follow him so that you are ready to receive that new music and all of the new art that's coming from him. And please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Department of Literatures and English. I have been your host here, Dr. Isis Samaj Hall, and I thank you all for joining us. Until we meet again, take care, everyone.
Okay, bless up everybody, and thank you very much for having me.
Of course.